So today's activity is to put my $5 borescope to use and see if I can get any evidence of fuel leakage underneath this refurbished fuel distributor. Because if you're not aware, I have hot starting issues now. And yes, I'm aware the most common culprit is the accumulator, but I'm hoping I can get away with a warranty claim on this rebuilt fuel distributor. I'm running the pump here on and off, and I'm not seeing any evidence whatsoever of leakage coming from underneath that fuel distributor, sadly. It's not the greatest view in the world, but if there was leakage, I would be able to see it at the actual throttle body as well, and I'm not seeing that either. Now, the fuel leakage situation internally is so bad that the flap basically goes flaccid within seconds of shutting off the fuel pump, and that's absolutely not correct. I went in for a better view by removing that flap, which I do not recommend because it's quite a nightmare to reinstall. And again, there's no clear evidence of the amount of leakage required to lose all pressure within a couple of seconds. It's just not looking that way. This looks like a very good fuel distributor. Somewhat disappointing, but yeah, looks like I do have to spend some money. And yes, you can see a little bit of wetness in there, but yeah, that's not the kind of quantity that you'd be needing to have that kind of loss of pressure in just a few seconds. It would actually be gushing out from under there, and that is definitely not the case. So I then moved on to just double checking the fuel pressure regulator wasn't slowly leaking. Again, this is a dodgy test, but yeah, it would have been evident that this thing was still flowing a bit of fuel out had it have failed after shutting off the pump. And as you can see, it stops pretty much instantly. Not that I recommend doing this test. So that looks like that's okay. It's kind of pointless putting the gauges on this system because the fuel pressure loss is basically instant. It's not going to tell me anything that I don't know already, other than there's a massive internal leak. So sadly, the next thing was to move on to the most likely candidate, and that is the accumulator. And I do say sadly because, again, this is a genuine Bosch part, like these pumps, and it was replaced about 10 years ago. So it looks like the life you can expect out of these things, maybe about 10 years on the accumulator, and anywhere from 2 to 5 on the fuel pumps. So this is just testing with the vent line disconnected, and as you can see, the internal diaphragm has ruptured. Nothing is supposed to come out of this rear port. It is connected to the suction side in case of failure, so you don't have a massive amount of fuel dumping everywhere. Yeah, I can totally understand why people want to get rid of this system. It is becoming quite a liability, this KE-Jet setup. EFI, with today's questionable fuels, is definitely going to be more reliable. Do I want to go down that path? I do not know, but I'm certainly getting fed up with spending money on KE-Jet on a car that I really don't get much value out of as far as driving it around.